What's Shador good at?
Um, obviously he started the past few games. I think last week he did a really good job. I think he threw for over 350 yards, threw some touchdowns out there. I just like any rookie quarterback, he's obviously still working through some things, but he obviously can throw the ball. I think he's really good throwing the ball on time. Obviously, he has some good skill players he can throw the ball to, whether it's Judy. Their rookie, I think he's a pretty good tight end as well. I think he's leading the team in all those receiver categories or whatever, so he's really good. Played against Njoku a few times. So he has a really good supporting cast. Like I said, I think he's really good at playing on time. He's very accurate. We all knew that coming out of college. And I think he's just getting more comfortable within not only just the offense, but just being an NFL quarterback. And, I'm expecting to continue to take that next step this week. So it's not just because he's a rookie does not mean we could take this guy lightly. He's very talented.
Maybe have you watched enough of Fannin yet to know what has made him as productive as he's been as a rookie?
I'm still working through that. But I just even looked at some of his numbers in college. I think he was like NCAA active leader in a few statistical categories. So he's a really talented tight end. He's really good as far as run after catch. I think that makes him really good. So I'm expecting him to throw some screens, stuff like that, especially with like, you're talking about the weather, the wind chill, and all that other stuff. So I'm expecting them to go out there and run the ball. But obviously, Judkins, he's a really good rookie running back as well. And then obviously some screens to the tight ends and stuff like that, and take the shots when they can.
They've had some productive runs out of the Wildcat with Judkins. I mean, I know it didn't work on the 2 point
Yeah.
last week, but like, what do you have to be aware of when they use that package?
I mean, I guess for me, it's a safety, just the different things they can work off of that. Right, if Shador is in the game or not, you know what I'm saying? They may be able to throw it to Shador or something like that to any type of, what I would kind of say, like trick plays off of the Wildcat. But, anytime you're defending Wildcat as a defense, it's basically, it's kind of 10 on 11 or whatever, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, now you have to take the guy, especially if you put the quarterback out there, you kind of maybe taking a post safety out to kind of make sure he's hovering over the quarterback. And then they have an extra hat, you know what I'm saying, to block guys. So it's a very effective play. I know in my experience just playing against like New Orleans Saints with Taysom Hill, it was very successful with them. So they do a really good job of it. Like I said, he's a really good running back. He runs very hard.
All right, what is the key to resetting and at this time of year and focusing on that next game, not getting ahead of yourselves, knowing what's at stake and what you guys are playing for?
Yeah, I mean, some people will call this a classic trap game or whatever it may be. I don't really believe in trap games in the league. I think every single week, you have to bring your best ball, regardless of records. This is the National Football League, and every team and everybody's playing for something, regardless of what the record is. I remember us last year not having a great record, but every single week we went out there, we played for the name on the front of the jersey, name on the back of the jersey, playing for pride. So we cannot take this team lightly at all. But the reality is that obviously we have Cleveland coming up, and then the next 3 weeks is against you know I think it's four playoff. I think it's three playoff spots basically outside of the division, and then you got 4 or 5 other teams that's fighting for whether if it's a division lead, wild card spot. So we have to be playing our best ball around this time of the year, and it starts this week against Cleveland.
You said that you don't believe in trap games, but as a veteran team leader, do you have to talk to some of the younger guys to just basically say, focus on the Browns, don't, because obviously you just played the Packers, you're playing again. Like, do you,
Yeah, I will. I will talk to a couple of the guys. I don't think anybody in this locker room is going to take this team lightly. But I will just make sure I'm reminding guys like we need our best week of practice. You know what I'm saying? Focus on the day, have our best week of practice. Don't get too caught up on, the games coming up or what the weather's going to be like. You know what I mean? Like let's focus on today. Let's get better today. Let's have our best day of Wednesday. I think we just have a walkthrough today, but let's have our best focus today because I believe in just the momentum of the week carries on. You know what I mean? I don't really believe on momentum carrying from week to week, but I believe from how you start your Monday going to Saturday can determine how well you play on Sunday. So just focus on today, having the best day we possibly can.
What's the next step for the defense? Like if something needs tightening up, something you'd like to see be better in these final games, what is the next step?
I mean, I just think that just looking back at the last game, whatever it may be, obviously we had some explosive plays that we can't allow to happen. So that's one thing as far as on the back end, we got to tighten up with just the execution of different coverages, making sure we're on top of that. But then obviously late in the year, you got to be able to stop the run. Teams are going to want to be able to run the ball and then have play action off of that. So stopping the run first and foremost to be able to have the opportunity to defend guys on third down. Because I think looking at the last game, Green Bay was 8 of 12 on third downs, but I think 7 of those third downs were three and less. So that means that they were really good on first and second down. So we have to be better on early downs to be able to get guys in the third and long because we're really good on third and long. So I just think those are a couple things we just got to button up. But we're just continuing to get better.
On that note, the 3rd and 2, like what do you take away from that run and just how it was defended and what you guys can do differently? The Jacobs 21-yard run.
I mean, just missed tackles. I don't think we got to look too much into it. Obviously, I think we had the team defended. You know what I mean? I think it's just really just finishing the play. Um, that was a big play in the game. You know what I mean? Like we stop him, they probably kick a field goal, and that can probably change up how Ben calls the last drive because we was in field goal range, whatever it may be. But just as a defense and guys on our team, we take a lot of pride in tackling and finishing plays, and I just don't think we finished right there.
What-
How have you seen Ben address the playoff race in meetings with you guys?
I mean, Judge, like I said, when I look at the playoffs the past couple years since they kind of changed the playoff format, um, especially with this year with the NFC, it's going to take 11 games to get in my opinion. And with the amount of good, really talented teams in the NFC, 10 wins, I don't think is going to get it done. I think last year Seattle had 10 wins and didn't get in. I think it's going to be the same thing this year. So I think just understanding that we're focusing on each week, but that's just the reality of the situation. You know what I mean? We got to go out there and try to continue to stack wins. So starting this week, I don't want to necessarily call it a must win, but we have to make sure we continue stacking wins. So, like Coach said, I mean, having 9 wins is cool, but it's not going to get us in the playoffs. So we're going to have to get at least 2 wins if we want to get in the playoffs. But I think 3 or 4 to win the division. So that's what we're focused on. We're just going to focus on this week, and then obviously Green Bay once Green Bay come.
What are your most notable extreme weather games in your career?
My rookie year, I played in Kansas City. It was 1 degrees at kickoff. I think it was like negative 19 or something like that, wind chill. The AFC Championship game in Kansas City again was really, really cold. I can't remember what the exact temperature was, but those are probably the 2 most extreme. I probably only played in maybe 1 other game that was in the single digits temperature. But I mean, Sunday was pretty cold, but I don't think it's going to compare to what it's going to be on Sunday.
How does the game change when you're in 20 below wind chills and you're playing?
For me, nothing really. I mean, for me, I don't really think about the cold weather during the game. It's more about before the game. It's like the whole lead up, the warm ups. It's kind of just standing around. That's kind of the annoying part of it. The TV timeouts. You know what I mean? I kind of just stand around by the heaters, and it's 30 seconds left on the TV timeout. I run out in the field, get the play call. But now, when you're in the game, you're thinking about the game. You're thinking about what the offense is doing and stuff like that. So it's more about just the lead up to the game. And at the end of the day, like, both teams got to play in the same weather. You know what I mean? Like, the game's going to get played, so there's no point of thinking too much about it. Once you're running around, your body warms up. And, I mean, we got nice warm benches and all that stuff. Like, so it's not really that bad. I mean, I almost feel bad for the fans that's out there. So if the fans out there screaming and having a good time, I feel like we can too.
Along those lines, it feels like you guys have been on the road a lot lately. You get 3 of the last 4 at home. Like, how conscious are you? How much does that matter to you to kind of use that home field advantage to finish the season strong?
Yeah, we have to. We have to use that. I think we've been really good at home, obviously outside of the first loss that we had against Minnesota. So we got to be able to take advantage of any advantage that we can get. And obviously having our crowd in our home stadium, who's been electric this year, using to our advantage, especially on defense. Obviously the offense having to communicate a little bit more and just kind of using that momentum as far as the crowd, just to go out there and just play well. So we're excited to be home for like 3 out of the last 4 games or something like that. So like I said, just trying to stack wins at home. And, when you talk about going to the playoffs, you have to be able to win at home. We stole some on the road, which is good. So that we just kind of got to finish it out, at home in our stadium.
How much can the home crowd help you? What would be your message to the fans?
I mean, be as loud as possible, especially on third downs, because like I said, the offense having to communicate a lot more. I know especially against Cleveland, just with their having a young quarterback, had to communicate in a very loud, hostile environment. I think it can be huge for us on defense. But like I said, being able just to have the home field advantage is always good, especially late in this year when essentially we're playing playoff games already. So I think it's going to be huge for our crowd to really make a lot of noise and be excited.
You were talking about the Wildcat and the trick plays a few minutes ago. Do you think you guys are more attentive to wrinkles like that because of who your coach is and the fact that you guys run things like that offensively?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, every week, I want to say every day at practice, we do like a 1s versus 1 scenario. And normally that's the time where, like, I personally think that Ben kind of has like his little, plays in his little bag or whatever that he kind of tried against our defense. So I'm always on high alert anytime we go in those situations like, hey, be alert of reverse double pass or something like that. So yeah, I mean, you're always kind of tentative, but obviously they put it on film, so that's definitely something we're gonna have to practice against and just make sure we're on top of all our rules. And at the end of the day, man, you got to let your rules take you to the ball. Keep your eyes on your coverage, and that usually keeps you in a safe place. Versus if you're just looking at the Wildcat running back, and you're not really worried about what the blocking scheme is, what your coverage responsibilities is doing. That's kind of how you kind of get in trouble a little bit when those Wildcat or any type of trick plays for situations. You just got to make sure you have your eyes where they need to be.
Where does Ben's leadership show up the most, particularly after a loss?
I think just kind of resetting the room, resetting the team, resetting our mindsets. Obviously, nobody wants to lose games. Nobody wants to mess up. But I think he just helps us, just obviously within like the Monday meeting, just kind of making sure that we're understanding where we kind of fell short in the game. And because at the end of the day, when you lose, like at times it kind of just, even for yourself, you feel like the sky's falling. You know what I mean? It's like you always, when you win, there's always mistakes, right? But when you lose, it feels like all those mistakes are even more magnified. And I think he kind of just compresses everything to say, hey, these are true reasons why we lost. These are things that we did well, and these are things we need to correct going forward. And so it kind of gives us a really good blueprint on like, okay, like, usually when you watch the film, it's not as bad as you thought it was, but in your mind, you always think everything is the worst. So yeah, he just helps us just reset everything and actually just kind of moving on. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, that game was what it was. And so now we got to focus on the Cleveland Browns to try to go get a win at home.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.